Hello, I'm MPX Toycat, and today I'm going to be checking out something called Mega Skygrid. So you might recognize the concept of Mega Skygrid, or rather Skygrid as a whole, because it's one made by Sepling literally 9 years ago, and apparently, Lifeboat was allowed to upload it to the marketplace with no issues, but at least a brand new team that has only made one thing, their name is 4K Studios, has made a version of Skygrid that is apparently mega. So it's obviously different in the fact that it has blocks that are 3x3, it looks like, based on the thumbnail. They might be 2x2, but basically this claims to be Skygrid with a little bit of a difference, and let's see if it exactly is that. Again, I'm very curious about the name 4K Studios, I'm very curious about the name Mega Skygrid, and I'm curious as to how much fun this will be, because one of my favorite classic game modes is Skygrid, and let's see how great this is by comparison. So, hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope that the definition of that is good, and if it's not good, I hope that improves shortly, because we're about to be surviving in a very weird, and a minute ago, that's the official story. So this is Mega Skygrid. As you can see, every single block is not placed in its normal place in the world, but is instead as part of a giant
Mega Skygrid,
grid.
except toycat tax is paid.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Act David. What a way to start a map playthrough. That is crazy. Thank you for lightening my day a little bit. And indeed, I hope that this stream does that for anyone out there watching, because you know what? The first thing I'm going to do, as of any Minecraft map, is chop down a tree, because we spawn on this little bit of a sky block looking thing, and then from there we have to make our way between islands and kind of work it out by ourselves, and that is something I am very curious about. So yeah, it seems as though we've actually broken Minecraft a bit with all of the blocks. Like, none of those blocks didn't make a sound, and also we can't pick them up. Oh god. I've never had single player lag this bad before, so something about this map also has some serious performance issues. You can't not be curious when you hear about something like that. But yeah, let's see if we can place blocks without later dying as a result. It seems as though we can, so let's believe that we can. And oh god. Let's jump over, and let's try and find the most important first island, which is a nice stone one that we can see just over there. So yeah, we're going to jump to the stone island, because you know what? We need some stone. This can be like our first base of operations. As you all know in Minecraft... Oh, we could have gone to a crafting table island. That's what we should have done. We should have gone over there, found our crafting tables the old-fashioned way. Because again, every single block, I believe in Minecraft, like you can find from like leaves to pumpkins. Some blocks are less frequent than others. It's crazy to see the world of things going on right here. Mycelium exists over there. There's a couple of redstones next to each other. The way the randomness works here, beyond my comprehension.
I should probably pay my toycat tax today. Need to get a sweet plushie too.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Evictus. I am very excited about the toycat plush thing, because, I don't know, I wanted to make a piece of merch that was, like, super, you know, unique as, like, not just, you know, like, I feel like, you know, t-shirts everyone has, so I never, like, push those too hard. Like, if you want them, they exist somewhere, you can probably find them. But, like, I feel like the toycat was, like, a piece of wonder that we had to
I'm back watching another stream.
Hey!
I hope you've had a great day. My 18th birthday was 2 days ago, so I'm officially an adult. I live in the UK. Any tips for how to adult?
Happy adulthood, Megan Smith. So here's the deal with being an adult. Like, your whole life it's built up as this crazy moment where, like, everything, like, changes and, like, oh yeah, it's when the Fire Nation attacked. But the reality is about being an adult is that, like, oh yeah, everything's pretty much the same as it was before. And the reality is there's this distinction that only exists in, like, certain legal circumstances, and it makes you realize that you always kind of free to do whatever you wanted, for better or for worse. And that's where a lot of people realize, like, oh, I can do whatever I want, and they start to wreck themselves, which is, who doesn't want to destroy themselves? Me, I think that's a lot of fun. So, yeah, as far as, like, what is the actual advice I'd give? The advice I'd give is, like, hey, now that you're fully in control, you don't have to change anything. I think it's overwhelming to think about it as, like, your whole life has to change. The reality is like, every year or so, like, have a rethink about, like, oh, what can I do differently now? And that's how most people get their lives together. That's why, people say stuff like, oh, that's why, in your 20s, you're, like, in this weird phase where, like, you're an adult, but you're also not doing most of the adult things. Like, I still, I mentioned recently how much I hate, the dishes as, like, a basic thing. But it's like, yeah, that sucks. That's a thing I do as little as humanly possible. I didn't hoover for, like, 2 years because it was just, like, a thing I didn't like. You know, it's loud and it's I have to buy a Hoover for it, and you know, there's loads of dumb things I just didn't do. And yeah, the cool thing about being an adult is you can push those things off, and it's your decision not to, as opposed to like someone's not going to come in and tell you not to. But eventually you realize that like, oh, no one's going to tell me not to, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't. Because a lot of your life until that point, you know, a lot of your pre-18 life is just like, yeah, you can do whatever you need to do. But as soon as, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that your life up until that point is that it's kind of like if you don't brush your teeth as a child and your parents don't notice, you've gone away with like not brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth as an adult, no one cares or notices, but then your teeth erode a certain amount of time later. I don't know how teeth erosion works. I'm not a dentist. I speak to the dentist every time I go though. It's a real delightful experience in my opinion. But so yeah, I've got myself a bunch of iron by the way, but not a furnace. For some reason I figured the first thing I would do was make myself all of my stone into slabs. Which means we need to go find some more cobblestone, and then we can smelt. Okay, wait, over there. There is some iron above a block of stone. So we just make a few slabs to get over there. We'll also mine some actually, not, let's not mine andesite. I say mining a single block of andesite. Let's just mine, oh god! Oh, way over here. That was terrifying, but it's okay. Let's just bridge between these islands. And, yeah, there's a big curiosity right here where you can see that, like, the grid looks endless. And I guess it probably is endless. So your direction is really hard to stay focused on. And it's important just to be like, okay, there's lots of things everywhere. Let's think about it one island at a time. Kind of like how you should look at adulthood is like, it's one challenge at a time. Being a human being really is one challenge at a time. But all the challenges you aren't taking on are usually taken on by someone else. And then at some point, you become in control of those and you can do what you want. Vacuum, is that a British Hoover? Oh yeah, hoovering is, there's this funny, you know, okay, in America, I wanna point out this isn't like, because, you know, this is kind of dumb, this UK thing, but America has a way worse offender in my opinion, that genuinely, I thought this was a thing on the internet, but some people genuinely call tissues Kleenexes over there. Like, that blows my mind, that's not what you do, that's, anyway, but like, apparently that's a thing. In the UK, we call, vacuums Hoovers. Because Hoover was the biggest brand at one point. They're not anymore. I actually recently just got rid of my Hoover to buy a Dyson Hoover. It's so much better. You know what? Hoover makes bad Hoovers. That is the that is the lesson of the day today. But yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a nice little crafting table. Again, I want to like, maybe this is like my speedrunning instincts, but I'm like, you know what? We can get to diamond tier really fast on this map. This is meant to be a challenge, but what if we actually use this as a way to just beat Minecraft real fast? It might just be doable that way. Well, let's see if it is, and let's go get some more stone, obviously, as well, by mining upwards. Or rather than mining upwards, make a staircase, I guess. Yeah, that makes as much sense as anything else. Hey, thank you, Mr. Outboard Chain. I hope you're doing great today, and that you enjoyed jumping on this super chat train. There we go, made it rhyme. If things rhyme, they're good. If things don't rhyme, they're bad. Trust me, that is the logic under which all of rap music works. Oh, not rap, I guess. All of poetry. You know what? Isn't it interesting how rhyming is like this just real beautiful thing that makes something make more sense to us? Like, to rhyme, you have to give up, you know, like the perfect word to describe a situation is almost never going to be one that rhymes. But when it does rhyme, you're like, oh, that makes sense this time. And you're like, but what's the... Anyway, what is there an end portal? What exactly is got here? So there is meant to be an end portal somewhere in here. I don't know if there is, though. But yeah, it's meant to be a very rare structure. But again, because they didn't clarify in the description, we're just left to assume that. Which is the beauty of a map like this. You gotta work it out. Like going to the Nether, how are we gonna do that? We find some obsidian and then we find flint and steel. Like there's a lot of fun questions we get to answer. Also, IBX Plush Cat is yes. Thank you, Rage Mage 117. I am glad to see you here today, and I hope you're having a good day today. I love poetry. I was never a fan of poetry because it always seemed like they did the, you know, kind of like I was saying about, like they sacrificed meaning of words to make things rhyme sometimes. So much so that you like would, this is how I felt about it. I don't know if it's true. Haven't listened as an adult, but it'd be like they tell a story, but they tell it in like a really poetic way that doesn't make sense outside of the you know, the poetic way. And it's like, well, you know, if you're not saying anything, it doesn't matter how elegantly you do it. Or maybe that is the important factor. I don't know for sure. Also, I should be using slabs. I know. Don't you worry, friends. I'm good. So yeah, we just got ourselves 27 diamonds. Pretty good stuff. I like that. Chat. So I've seen a few people like ask me to talk about something police, and the obvious answer is like nope, nope, back away from that. But every time something happens in the news, because I think talking about current events is a dangerous game when it comes to if you want to actually talk in an informed way. So let me talk about something. I learned about this happening in the UK. I learned about it because there was some big campaign against it, and it blew my mind. But it is a really fun, like, ethical, philosophical thing. And you know what? We love ethics. We love philosophy on this channel. We love the arbitrary lines that exist inside of all of us that we don't really know about until we have to define them. So let's talk about one of the most interesting ones to me. Let's make a diamond chestplate, by the way. You know what? Let's treat ourselves, shall we? But yeah, so here's something that happened in the UK. This is real. It's not gonna sound real, but I assure you, it is, right? So the question is like, how far can you go, or should you go, to get, you know, like something good done, to get the correct thing done, to bring bad people to justice, to make the world a more fair place. Like, how far should you go for that? Because the you know, the obvious answer is like as far as you need to. A lot of people do think along those lines. Like people all across the world of having opinions will say something along. Also, can we make a blast furnace? I think it would actually be a smart decision to do so. A blast furnace is what, like 4 iron in a furnace, right? We won't do it just because we need food soon. Oh god, we need food real soon. We need to find like a melon island. I think I rushed way too fast to the diamonds, and I didn't think about how to get to the Nether or the end, or how to survive. So I guess melon islands. And anyone see any better ideas than melons? Because if you do, I'd love to hear them. But right now, I'm not so certain such a thing exists. So the question, like, how far is it? You know, how far is the right amount to go to get justice? Most people go like, oh yeah, if it's for a good result, go as far as you need to. And obviously, you know, in an ideal world, that makes sense. But the problem is that in any realistic world you're trying to model, there is hay bales. Oh, hay bale island. Hay bale island. Yeah, if one exists, which oh, there is one over there. It's a little far away, but we can get to it. Actually, there's one just over there as well. And one down there. Or is that Beehive Island? I'm not even sure. Let's see if there's another one that's close. Yeah, that one over there is probably closest. And we can go past an Emerald Island on the way, just for fun. Let's do it, you know. But, yeah, so in a world where you're just making up rules from scratch, it's the best thing to do. Kind of like the trolley problem, you know. The trolley problem, you know, if you don't know, if there's 5 people on one train track, there's a train coming towards them, you can switch the track and you can save the 5 lives, but in exchange you'll be doing someone else to die. Everyone looks at that problem in reality. Everyone looks at that problem and goes, oh yeah, so you save the person, kill the 5. Oh no, you save the 5 people by killing the 1 person. 1 life is worth less than 5 lives. Is that a bonus to store Saturday, I see? Also, don't get the jukebox for pig step later. You got a good point, Mr. Matic Man. We need to pray there is pig step, and we need a jukebox
Things were
just in
sketch,
case.
but then I got an employee back pay. Wanted to pay it forward to those who've kept me sane and alive these past months. Toycat is yes. Cat Planet, Cat Planet.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fusion Warrior. I am really mind blown by that one. I'm so glad that anything I've ever done has brought any value to anyone. Let alone that amount. Jesus, Mr. Fusion Warrior. Thank you. I hope all is well. And if everything is good in the side of the place, in the part of the world you're in, because you know things were real crazy there for a bit, huh? But speaking of things being crazy, because I always wonder like what's the perfect balance to strike between like saying the things right now and also like finishing my train of thought. Because speaking of trains of thought, if there's a train about to run some people over, most people would say that. Also, I think we went past the Hay Bale Island. I don't know how we did that. But you know, I deliberately did this, okay? I deliberately did that because I wanted to get the Stone Island as well. Okay. Logic is good. Logic is good. But, yeah, there is it seems really logical that you should kill the person to save the 5. But then as soon as you start to muddy the waters, even the tiniest bit, as it happens in real life, like, oh yeah, so there's one patient who's on like, you know, life support, or even if he's not, there's one healthy patient. He's not on life support. He's just in the hospital for some routine surgery, and the doctors can kill that one healthy person and use the organs, the things to save 5 lives of 5 people who are sick. They can guarantee that those 5 people will die if they don't get the organs for this one person. If they do, they'll live. So you can kill one person to save 5. But in that case, everyone hates the idea. Everyone's like, I don't know about this one. Oh, we need to make bread real fast. Also, thank you, Ebsk. But yeah, I think in the same way, here's an interesting example, right? Everyone says that, oh yeah, you should do what it takes to make sure that people who do bad things, you know, pay the price for the bad things that they do. But so here's an actual thing that happened in the UK. It blew my mind, but you can look into this. There was a police officer. I don't know how long the thing happened for, but basically there was this big crime family. Let's keep it as a hypothetical, but just know this is a real thing that happened. Because when you go into the real world, again, people muddy the waters so much. Even though this is about muddying the waters, let's talk about this real world situation where there was this crime family, like this big crime gang in the UK. And, you know, to work out what they were doing, the police infiltrated the gang. This is probably, like, standard enough procedure. People might say, like, so they had to be dishonest to do it, but you know what? Criminals are dishonest, so, you know, greater, lesser evil, whatever. But the weird thing they did is they got some of the police officers to go undercover and, like, form relationships with members of this gang. And you might say then, like, ooh, is that necessary to do stuff? And the police clearly thought it was. And not only did they have relationships with, in some cases, they got married to, and you know, like, they had children with people who were part of this gang. They used that information, obviously, to stop crimes, to save lives, to, you know, prevent damage to people's stuff. But was it justified to, you know, is it ever justified to do that? You know, like, is that too far to go? Or is there no such thing as too far to go? Again, people split into, like, 2 camps on that one. Like, I don't know about this one. How do you feel about that one, friends? So, you know, the interesting thing about, like, because whenever something is, like, a current event, the immediate thought is, like, so what we need to do is ignore the long-term repercussions. Let's think right now, right here, based on the one thing we know, what is the solution, right? And this is always you know, like, there's a reason this comes up, because, of course, what is right here, right now. But once you actually start to, like, think about, like, oh yeah, the reason that we shouldn't have someone have the ability to kill people on sight if they seem bad is, like, oh yeah, it leads to really rough situations, you know? The reason, but then also you realize that, like, oh yeah, if you have no presence, no ability for anyone to do anything to stop someone besides say polite words like, hey, stop that over there, you also start to realize at the same time, like, oh yeah, there's a balance somewhere between give a figure of authority all the power to stop injustice in the world and give them no authority to do something. And I find it, okay, so we need to put on some, you know, let's put on some leggings. I don't know why we're making basically full armor right here, but it's very satisfying that we are. Let's make some boots as well. Boots. Wait, boots and cats. I could have made a way better joke there. But yeah,
I have Asperger's, and that can cause a lack of emotional connection. In the trolley problem, I always gave the answer in which the most people live. It confused people.
Is anyone really confused by that? I feel like, again, the default trolley problem, most people are actually on your side for that. Is like, oh yeah. If it's just lives versus lives, people are like, oh yeah, that's kind of fine. When it comes down to, like, okay, so should you, if there are, like, you know, like, if you've got a self-driving car, right? That self-driving car is on the road and it comes across, you know, like, it's in a situation where it can't stop in time. It has to, like, swerve into one of 2 people, likely killing them. Who should it swerve into? They're 2 people on bikes, let's say. One of those people is wearing a helmet, one isn't. So you can have the AI be like, oh yeah, guy with the helmet more likely to survive, target him, or you can go guy without the guy without the helmet, like he was less responsible, he did something he shouldn't have, he should be killed, like he should face the brunt of that. Let's not target the more innocent person. I just did the self-driving car thing today. Yeah, right, like the reality is that morality in the real world, the reason that self-driving cars are always such a good example of this is because morality in the real world is much, much, much more condensed than it is in a single situation that is hypothetically made. And when you actually, this is why when people respond to a real-world event the moment it's happened, the responses that people usually come up with are going to be ones that are based on their understanding of one event that has happened at one point in time somewhere, but not even the real event. Like after a thing happens, like if you think about I don't know, what's the worst thing in history? I don't know, it's either probably like like I don't know, World War II, the extermination of an entire race. Let's just put all the genocides under one category. Like all genocides are the worst thing to happen. Like when humans killed entire groups of people based on birth characteristics. That's no good, right? Hey, toycat, I found a mine shaft at Y3. I know we've about at it, but how rare is it? I actually can't tell how rare it is because it's only happened like 2 or 3 times. It could be really common and just people aren't looking out for it because it's very hard to find. There's no way to like mass search for it. So I'll be honest, I don't actually know how rare it is. Could be real rare, could be not rare in the slightest. And but I think it's pretty rare. So yeah, if we take those things as being like the worst things that have ever been done by humans, you don't actually understand what happened there. We have this like, even like it's dumb that in history this still happens because like now ever since you know how people say like in a time before history or like literally prehistoric, right? The phrase prehistoric means before history. What it really means is before we had good records. But even in the time where we have good records, where like, we have photos of 50, 70 years ago. But in spite of that, you still don't ever get an accurate picture of what happened then, what it was like then. You get the hindsight bias, right? You get the how, what we know about things based on that. People don't ever, it's like, I don't know. When you watch a movie, like a mystery thriller, you forget all the twists and turns along the way about who you thought did it. And you go all the way to like, oh yeah, the person who did
Even if it was someone I loved on the line, I would sacrifice them. I only truly connect with animals because they aren't confusing. Facial expressions are hard to read.
So first of all, having again, it sounds like the Asperger's that you have is like in some way like it sounds like it is in some ways like a detaching thing from humans, and feeling detached from humans like isn't a terrible thing in every way, because even though most people have this like human-wide bond, I'd say not having it by default isn't necessarily this awful thing. I do think though, like saying if someone you love was on the line, you'd still do it because human life thing. That is a little bit cold, I want to say still. Like, also Metacaster, thank you. Because I don't know, there's this natural human instinct. It's probably better not to have it, but there is a natural human instinct to protect things that we care about. And it's very interesting that, like, I guess in the abstract you don't think about it, but if you literally had, like, someone you loved on the line, you'd probably start to be like, I don't know about this one. If not for the very reason of, like, because I don't know, I've often thought, like, you can make pretty basic, straightforward equations about, like, oh yeah, how many people die doing X? How many people do we save doing Y? And there's a lot of decisions that we don't make, mostly for emotional reasons, right? Something like when you donate blood, you could save someone's life. It's very easy, doesn't cost you much of your life, but it's effort, and like, oh, you have to go to a blood center, like, who can do that, Donating organs is the same thing, like, it feels weird, right? But they're decisions that could save a lot of people. And there's one of two trains of thought you can have there. One is that we don't do those things because humans are selfish. And the other one is that either we're all very selfish, right? Or maybe instead what it is just we're all we're all driven by like micro nudges in our behavior. Like we have a certain path of behavior that we will follow until there is good reason to do otherwise. Also, you know, this night has felt like it's been forever. Has it been forever? Am I crazy? Skygrid, but they're 3x3. It's so dope. Yeah, I feel like at first I feel like the idea is definitely more interesting sounding. I like that you get a lot of each ore, so you're not like searching around forever for lots of pieces. Because it is still enough of a challenge to be like, okay, where do we find obsidian? I've seen coal a few times, and I thought it was obsidian. Is that obsidian or is that coal? Okay, that's obsidian there at the very least. Let's go over there. Also, thank you, Cup Effect, for becoming a channel member. Welcome to the club, Mr. Flub. I had to make it rhyme. I'm sorry. Thank you. We hit 500 members recently. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for blood donors, so thank you to anyone who donates blood. Right, like, it takes, like, an emotional story to get, like... And on the one hand, that sucks, because we don't make, like, purely rational, perfect decisions all the time. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, that is the human condition to some extent. Like, we don't perfectly analyze the entire species from our own perspective, but instead what we do is, like, when someone tells us a story, you know, we are very story-based creatures, kind of like, you know, that trolley problem gets you really motivated to be like, oh yeah, of course you should save the lives. But then I don't know, a single news story can motivate you to be like, oh, we need to change the world to fix this problem. And then, you know, you're done thinking about it a little bit afterwards, most of the time. Like, it's, you know, like, the reason, to some extent, you know, news feels like it needs to exist, the reason we feel compelled to be informed of the world, even though most news is bad news, is because, like, you know, we all have this desire to fit into this big bubble together in a way that's actually kind of interesting, in my opinion. Like, the desire to do things that are good. Yeah, because, again, if we were a pure... Okay, you know, let's break the TNT above me. I don't know where these skeleton arrows are coming from. Oh, it's down there. So all we have to do is we just place a nice block over here and hit. And now that problem's gone away. Is this like Skyblock, says Gabe NG? Skygrid, my friends. Do the 3x3 squares never end? I actually don't know. I bought this map right now and I figured, let's give it a try in survival. I want to try a few more, like, survival challenges like this. Because I like survival challenges. There are just very few in the store. And the ones that exist seem to be just, here is something we stole from. In this case, like, YouTuber Seth Bling made this forever ago. There's a skeleton up there now, too, as well as down there. That seems like they're targeting me at some point. But yeah, let's place torch down in the middle there. We've got 6 bits of obsidian. Let's see if we can find another block that isn't being attacked by skeletons. That'd be nice. If we can't, then that's a problem. Oh, also we need wool, right? For some stuff. It'll be great. So, yeah, I like the process of donating blood. Sit in a chair for a while, watch a movie, then get up and eat snacks. Yeah, I'm like 95% sure that because I bleed so much that I have like some form of iron deficiency. And like, I used to be, when I was younger, like the first 20 times I had a needle in me in my life, I was like, why do people freak out about this? But over time, I don't like, because there was a phase in my like late teenage years, just as I became an adult and had to start dealing with myself as a human. At my school, they kind of push kids to donate blood. Do you think that's a good thing, though, or not? That's my question. Like, do you like that they basically make people who would otherwise not be interested in donating blood, donate blood? Because, you know, it's kind of like advertising, right? Advertising seems like this big bad from the outside, like companies trying to influence your behavior to benefit themselves. And it's like, oh, those monstrous, you know, like, those monstrous big corporations. Because, you know, like, it's easy to target big faceless corporation and call them a monster. But in reality, it's like, well, what they're doing is they are helping, you know, like, there is no way you would find things were it not, you know, there's certain things you could find about advertising, but, like, you know, there are things that you find much faster as a result of advertising. In a good world, at least, like, good advertising helps you find new products that you like, and in exchange, someone makes some money down the line because that's how the commercial world in which we operate works. Like, people get paid for the things they do and the services they provide. But on the surface, it sounds monstrous regardless. Also, do you see how, even without putting the furnace fuel in there, this furnace is just working by itself? It's a ghost furnace, you could say. Don't know how that works, but sure. Also, I don't see any more obsidian, so we're just going to go back, and we're just going to accept being hit by a skeleton as a... Oh, there's another obsidian over there. Should we go to that one? You know, let's go to it. You know, let's make this life more complex for ourselves. Why not, right? Why not? But, yeah, the truth is that... there's a really handy, like... I'm going to word this way less elegantly than, like... There's this book about nudges you can read if you'd like to. But, basically, everything in society works on this principle of, like, you know what? By default, we do very little beyond surviving and things that we have within our, like, base routine. Like, what is your base routine? Do you watch YouTube videos? Sounds like it, based on the fact that I see you right here. Do you, you know, eat food? Probably, you know, we talk about that a lot. There are some things that you do. Your favorite activity in the world, you don't know about yet. You don't know what that favorite activity is, because you haven't done it. Would it be nice if there was someone who could tell you what that favorite activity is? But who knows you well enough? No one knows you well enough. Except actually, you know, on the internet, advertisers do know that, oh, your age, your this demographic, what things you watch. Based on the fact that you like, you know, watching YouTube videos, you might enjoy, I don't know, laying in a tank. You know, something I really want to do is sensory deprivation tanks. I learned about it through some weird, like, word-of-mouth podcast thing. But, like, I want to go into one of those tanks where they make you float in liquid and they remove all sound, remove all everything, and you just float for 45 minutes. It sounds horrifying and, honestly, a little overpriced and silly. But, like, I want to know, you know? I need to know. Like, what is that like? How does that experience go? So, yeah, I feel like you don't know if these things are going to be your thing until you give it a whirl. Okay, we're doing this all wrong now. Okay, there we go. We're here. That's what counts. That's what counts. But, yeah, basically, the fact that we are, like, driven by nudges, kind of, to some extent, it contributes to the whole, like, we don't have free will thing. Hello, Toycat. How's it going?
Hello, Toycat. How is it going? Can't stick around because of D&D, but hope you and everyone in chat has a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Commander Y. Congrats on the D&D. I think I can now start doing D&D again because the UK has, like, lifted some, restriction. Oh, no, I think actually it's, like, in the UK we still have to be, like, 2 meters apart. I mean, obviously, like, you can just not listen to the government. That's also an option. But, yeah, I missed some D&D, honestly. I've been, like, looking into, like, DMing for a bit. Because one of my friends was, like, the most experienced, so he's, like, kind of DM by default. And he's been like, you know, I'd like to play again. And so I'm trying to learn to become, like, a DM on the fly. A dungeon master. Which is dumb, because, you know, I have yet to make a single dungeon. Although, maybe that just means I'm playing the game badly. Okay, we've got 12 bits of obsidian. Now we can make a portal wherever we like. I think we should do it near our center, because... You know, chat, how are we going to find an ender pearl anyway? I guess in the Nether we can find blazes, but we can't find endermen very easily in this update. Should have played this in 1.16. Should have played this in 1.16. But yeah, we're going to go over here. Because our starting island was over... Oh god, I can't find my starting island. Maybe if we turn coordinates on, that would help. Because our starting island must be at 0, 0, right? That's my thinking. Also, you know, not having coordinates on by default. Kind of awful move. Okay, so... Yep, don't know where we are. Don't know where the spawn island is. I just know we came from over here, it looks like. Or maybe we went over there. Oh, no, over there. That's the way. That's the island right there. So let's make a clear pathway using lots of torches so we don't get lost again. Just to be clear here. But yeah, so, just got here, you find any swaggy stairs. Sadly, this map has no swaggy stairs. It is a tragedy, I know. A deep tragedy. So Cat, so glad to see you. How have things been? Recently bought the plush. Also, Pog says Mushroom Girl. Are you, I believe that you are Isabella Rigby, right? Am I getting the right person from you there, or you just have a suspiciously similar profile picture. But yeah, good to see you. Hello. How's it going? Okay. So we don't want the gravel to fall in the void, but we do want the gravel to fall somewhere we can mine it. Because we need now flint and steel. We've got steel. We just need flint. How'd you get flint? You repeatedly, frustratedly mine some blocks. Okay, let's do it. So, but yeah, going back to what I was saying. Like, we're driven by, like, a bunch of behaviors that we like to think we're in full control of ourselves at all time. But it's like, if you are tired, you're more likely to sleep than someone who is not tired. I mean, obviously, like, also you can just not do that. But, you know, like, we like to think we're in full control of ourselves all the time. Despite the fact they're actually driven by a lot of behaviors in our environment. These are note blocks, not jukeboxes. Damn it, I generally can't spot the difference on first look. This is note blocks, right? This is note blocks, that's note blocks. Are there any jukeboxes around here? There's a lot of note blocks, a suspicious number, in fact. Anyway, let's have our Nether portal be, like, roughly here. In fact, let's put it on the redstone lamp island. And let's do this. I'm excited. We're going to the Nether. You know, I'm gonna make a... Okay, I guess the decision's been made for me. I was like, it's gonna be off-center, but I guess that torch messed some things up. So, place a block there, and then 1, 2... 1, 2. We'll place corners up here. You know, we've got like a rich Nether portal, but as long as you don't look at the bottom, it looks rich. Let's go to the Nether in Skygrid. What's it gonna be? I'm really curious because again, this is a premium map. This was roughly $4, and the answer as to what you find in the Nether is the Nether. Oh. Oh. Is it? Where's the grid? Did they not make a grid? What? If I'm here in the Nether, and there's no, what? How did they not think about this? What did they assume you were doing on this map? Okay, well that's fine. You know, didn't want a Nether anyway. So let's go back. Is there an end then? Is it going to be pre-lit? Will the end be a Skygrid? What a rip-off. Right, I mean, like, taking a Oh! Okay, well, that's even better. You know, I love that as soon as you go out of the Nether, you get a free opportunity to explore and survive again. So, the good news is we can get stuff back pretty easily. Honestly, what is the entire point of this whole map, right? I generally have that... Oh, okay, well, okay, you know, that was on me. I generally do have this question, like, so what is the point of all of this, then? Like, is there an end portal? Let's try and find one. If there's going to be an end portal, do you think it's all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom? Because it's got to be one of those two, right? It's not just floating here in the middle, because we'd see it otherwise. But yeah, I am so curious. Did you see the SpaceX launch? I actually didn't. I heard about it though, and that's basically as good as seeing it. I hear it's a cool moment for the future. I know, like, there's all these launches that are happening. I'm excited for the launch where, like, we go to the, you know, like the moon, Mars, or maybe we did go to. I think this was like an International Space Station mission, right? But it's like, isn't that a thing that's being shut down soon? Like, isn't that sad to launch rockets going there? I found the end portal. It's in the thumbnail. My assistant made that. I don't know if she knew or if she just assumed or how that all goes. You know, I should ask these questions when I look at thumbnails, but I don't. I just go, you know, seems about right. It was the first with humans. Oh, that's cool. There you go. That's all you need to give me. Now I'm excited. Let's go to the moon or the space station. I'd love to go to the space station. So yeah, let's try and get down this map. We're going to use these blocks as our way of doing that. And we've got a single potato in here. We're not meant to eat this potato, but watch me. Watch me, internet. So the plan here is to mine through these blocks and then to take as little full damage as possible. And then to get down low and pray there's an end portal there. If there's no end portal, the point of this map existing is kind of moot, right? Wrong? Right? I don't know. Okay, let's try this one again. Okay, down we go. Are we good? We're kind of good. Okay. So now we place a block like there, as low down as we can get. And we want to place a block over here. And we just keep on keep on going down like that until we find either an end portal or a depressing lack of nothingness. I fear that it will be the second thing, not the first thing. I'm a bit of a space nerd. Yeah, I love space too. I'm a big fan of space. I just feel like humans have kind of stopped on that trajectory, you know, for a while. Like, I know we've got like one dude on the planet who seems interested and able to like get us going there again. And that's a sad thing. But it is a thing. Okay, so I'm getting closer, chat, but I'm not seeing the promising signs I was hoping for. And also I am dying. So should we just live down here? You know, let's try and survive. Let's go from the bottom of the grid to the top. Start from the bottom, then we'll be there, I guess you could say. So the nearest hay bales are, okay, let's make all of this into that. It's cheaper to make a crafting table now so we can make slabs. Let's go over there, or maybe over, that one's gonna be easier to get to. So let's do it. Let's remember that this is like our main island though. We'll mark it with a dirt block. You know, we'll grow a potato here. That'll be nice. So let's make some sticks for later. Actually, we need to make a pickaxe anyway, right? To mine some stone. Hopefully we find some along the way. But yeah, so the questions about like why we do the things that we do. Like if someone, you know, like the fields of working those questions out are always being developed because we genuinely don't really know. We're always guided by this idea that like humans are so great. Like we almost like in so many fields we work with an answer we think we know and then we work back to the question. And one of my favorite examples of this is like for the longest time we assumed that all humans evolved from the same species at the same time. Ignore the, if you don't like evolution, then assume I'm talking about science fiction right now. But it's been assumed for forever that all humans came from, you know, the same thing. Like all humans started in Africa, right? That's a thing that people say. But we don't actually have any proof that that's the case. It's like the most popular theory. It's, oh god, it's a selfish stone thing. Okay, well that's, if we punch this, that'll break, right? Okay, this is a good thing. Oh yeah, let's just break all the silverfish blocks. There we go. Just, okay, this is terrifying. This is okay, well they're not my problem anymore. They're not my problem anymore. But yeah, it's like we're kind of like guided by what we want to get from something, and we work kind of backwards from there. And the hardest question of all to answer, that we'll never be able to fully answer, we'll only be able to answer in little bits and pieces, is why do humans do the things that they do? Once we can answer that question definitively, then we'll know that humans don't have free will, etc., etc. But the truth is like, even right now, we can't categorize humans at all, really. Like, sure, we try. I mean, like, you might look at someone's, I don't know, color off their hair, or you might look at someone's height, or, you know, their gender, or whatever, you know, things you want to use, and try and make judgment based on that. But there's no judgment you can apply to any one class of human, besides the... Actually, I was going to say, like, besides that, you know, they are alive, but, you know, a lot of humans are dead. And it's like, okay, if you take alive humans, you can say they're alive. What about people on life support? And it's like, ah, you're right. So, everyone with... everyone who has long eyelashes has, I don't know, it's very impossible to make like generalizations about all humans because we are so similar to each other but yet so different at the same time, and working out where those differences begin and end, again, it's something that is very hard and that no one really wants to fully do. Because the answers can be horrifying either way. Like, what if we conclude that there is just some proportion of the population that is born to agitate, you know? That is born to hate authority, and to try to bring down the world, you know? Like, if you could, you know, like, if we take... actually, it's an interesting thing, right? Because a lot of people assume that there are people out there right now who are trying to bring down society as you know it. We're pretty sure that that's not true because it's really easy, if you wanted to. The weak points in society are really well known. You just have to be, like, well educated to find them. Like, do you want to get through airport security with a weapon? You know, it's been proven time and time again. Easy to do. It's just people assume that it's safe. People assume there is security. I can't do that. America, can I tell you about one of my favorite things? America has this thing. It's like designed to intimidate people, where they hire people who work for the airline, or they look like they work for the airline, but they work for the American government. And what they do is when you're flying to America, they ask random questions, they write down the answers, about super niche details and questions. Like, you know, they ask things that you wouldn't expect them to ask deliberately, just to see how you react, and to see how coherent your response is. Because, you know, no matter what they, you know, like, I don't know, anything that you go through, you have to hit the weak points of society when they flash, as a Hexatron. That's a good way to put it. The stupidity of humans generally frustrates me so much, says PN. Right, but the stupidity of humans, you know, like, if talking about it like we're aliens from another planet, is mostly just in uninformedness of humans, right? Like, people do not know the consequences which their actions can have. Or even if they do know the consequences their actions have. You know, like, when you have a bad day... Actually, wait, I just tuned in and heard was bring weapons into an airport, so is it that kind of stream, Hasa Steve Pitosky? It's one of those streams where I get myself put on many watch lists. Because I remind everyone that the world is a weak system that, you know, tries to seem secure. You know, just like every individual, like, at some point in your life, you just conclude, like, I'm just going to pretend I know what I'm doing. And then you join the legions of other people who pretend they know what they're doing and get away with it, right? There's no iron blocks around here anywhere that I can see. What a weird, interesting, wacky thing. But, yeah, basically there is a contingent of... Okay, there is iron... No, yeah, over there. Like, way over there. We can find some iron. It's gonna be a long journey, though. But, yeah, the reality is that, like, yeah, most people are pretty uninformed about the majority of things. And that sucks. But it also reminds you that, like, you know, very few people are actively trying to help me. It's like, here's an example of, like, how we do things without realizing what we're doing. When you have a bad day, you take it out on the people around you. You don't know you're doing it. Like, I didn't know this was a thing until, like, someone said, like, huh, it's like having a hard day, because, like, I was mean to someone who did something dumb. Like, whenever I, like, lash out on people who say, toycat, you're not responding to chat, or, I don't know, there's a lot of dumb things in that. Yeah, there's, like, everyone knows that YouTube comments are dumb, right? And every now and then, I'm like, oh, it's, like, it, like, grinds my gears, and, it's a thing that I comment on. People are like, oh yeah, so you're having a bad day. And I realized this recently, they're like, oh yeah, when someone's a jerk to you, you can be pretty sure they're having a bad day. It's, I heard someone recently say something about, like, you know, the majority of interactions you have, like, the reason that, like, no one can really quantify whatever ism you want, discriminationism, sexism, racism, you know, like, whatever ism you want to say right here. The reason it can be so hard to quantify is because people are jerks to you for no reason all the time. How do you work out why they're being a jerk to you? Because sometimes there will be people who will be a jerk to you based on one of your characteristics that doesn't exist. But the reality is most people are jerks to most people just because they had a bad day. Just because, okay, this is real stone. I have to check now. Most people will be... you know, like, you have something bad happens, and you don't even know it's affecting you. Like, again, if you're aware that, like, oh yeah, I'm more irritable today, you have a better time. But if you just think, oh yeah, it's just been a bad day for me, and the world sucks, you're gonna be super rude to the people that you go past. I noticed this once because, like, at 5 AM, I was going through an airport, and I made, like, I always thought to myself when I saw people do, like, dumb stuff, like not take off their belts or whatever for a thing, like, You know you meant to do that. Why didn't you do that? And at one point, like, while I was really tired, I forget what the exact mistake was. It's something really dumb, like, oh yeah, I left my shoe. Oh no, I brought a water bottle through, and they're like, you can't have that. And I was like, but it's you know, I was about to start the argument and be like, it's just water. Why are you doing this to me? We both know this is theatre. We both know water can't hurt it. Drink some. I'll drink some, damn it. Because he was willing to let me drink the water right there. And it's like, well, if I prove that it's drinkable, whatever. I was just like, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this, you see. But a lot of people don't have that moment. They'll have the moment where they just think like, man, the world sure is out to hurt me today, because I hurt badly when someone says something. Truth is, a lot of the world is just kind of hurting, right? A lot of the world is just people having their own bad days. Because one of the things, maybe everyone else doesn't exist like this. Maybe this is just a me thing, dehumanizing the world or whatever. But when you meet a stranger, it's really hard to imagine them being a real person and living like a full life. Like when you meet someone for the first time, what's the most recent human I had an interaction with? I saw someone at the, I was at an airport yesterday, 2 days ago. I was at the airport and I saw this couple. There was this woman who had a really weird pointy hat on, like a witch's hat. Like, she wasn't a witch. I mean, she might have been a witch.
Hi.
Also, thank you, Brendan. Hello, Brendan. How's it going? I hope you're doing good today. But I saw a woman wearing this, like, ridiculous witch hat. And when you see someone like that, you know, when this person in my brain was catalogued as, like, person who wears hat and has, like, vaguely Eastern European looking boyfriend. But the reality is she had, like, she was a whole person, presumably. I mean, I don't know for sure. But, like, I'm pretty sure she was, like, a whole person. She lived a life for 30-something years at that point. Think about how long a year is. She lived through 30 of them. But you don't register that. You don't think of it as, like, wow, people sure do be living long. Instead, it just comes down to, oh, yeah, this weird person with their weird fashion decision. You know, you boil someone down to, like, the details that matter right then and there. But when you only focus on what matters right then and there, you lose the humanity of it a little bit. And maybe that's, like, it makes sense that, like, oh yeah, when you've got a crowd of people, you don't need to humanize each and every one of them. Like, does it matter if this person... it's kind of like, when I go into a store, the cashiers are NPCs. Maybe that's offensive, maybe you hate that. When I'm on a train with other people... This is, because if you've never been on public transport, some people get, like, terrified at the idea of, like, there are so many people there. At least in London, I can only talk for the public transport systems that I use on a regular basis. The way it works is, like, you're on this, you know, this bit of public transport. You're on this, like, train with, you know, hundreds of other people, some cases thousands of people. But you're all there in your own little bubble together, right? You're in this big... Everyone... You know, you are on this train alone with all these NPCs, and all these NPCs are on their train alone with you. It sounds super dumb to say, and you know, it probably is super dumb when you really think about it. But that's really how people treat it. Like, you are in NPC land, all alone, and everything is fine. Also, this Emerald Island seems like a good place to start, so let's get some stuff going. I always try to humanize everyone. But, like, again, when you're on a train for hundreds of people, you can't think of each of them as, like, this person has a wife and kids. This person, their nan just died. This person just donated blood. You know, this person has been awake for 48 hours and is, you know, awaiting some bad news. You know, like, it's impossible, and I don't think it's even a good idea. Like, abstracting does have its value. Like, looking, you know, this, oh god, I hear silverfish. Did I leave some silverfish alive still? Okay, there's just one silverfish left now. It's almost sad for the silverfish. Should we put him out of his misery? Should we make sure that no silverfish have to go through what he goes through there? Maybe we should. But, yeah, is there going to be another live stream of the map making, says Heatherwinter? Would you like to see another live stream of it? I don't know, I felt kind of torn at the end as to whether it was like a good stream or a bad stream. Honestly, I have this big... Every time I stream, I have this big crisis about, like, did anyone enjoy that in the slightest or not? And yeah, I don't know. Like I felt I'm never sure that because like the numbers you get on YouTube give you like a good indication of like this went really well, this went really poorly, but it doesn't give you a good idea of like was that something people liked and would like to see more of, or was they liked in that one sense. I'm doing fantastic, thank you. I'm AFKing at my first ever skeleton farm in hopes of getting something, hopes of getting to gear up and get a beacon. Should have done this months ago. Oh yeah, you know what? After 1.16 comes out, one of the first things I want to do is go kill some wither skeletons to go get a beacon, because they'll actually start to respawn properly after that. It's going to be real great. But does everyone else have their own occasion where you realize everyone is their own person and just you get very overwhelmed, or is that just me? Yeah, sometimes, well, this is actually where I was going with that. Dina Nagy, so thank you for mentioning it. Every now and then when I'm looking at like a horde of people, I'm like, oh wow, yeah. Each of these, you know, each of these individuals has their own little story going on, their own thing. And every single one of them, you know, like when you meet someone, it's like when you see someone, it's easy to look at them and be like, man, this person's just a jerk. Or like when I saw that woman with a hat, I generalized her as woman with hat. She does not think of herself as woman with hat. I guarantee you that the way she thinks about herself is this deeply complex, you know, being that's been through some things, or even if she hasn't been through things, she thinks of herself based on her hobbies and her likes, her interests, her dislikes, her relationships with others perhaps. But she definitely doesn't see herself as woman with hat. Man, this is a confusing layout we've got going on right here. But we can finally make ourselves an axe, and a pickaxe actually. Because we need to make another iron pickaxe, because we might have lost our previous one. Actually, this time, just to prevent that, let's make a chest. And let's put in that chest some of our valuables. So we can come back and get these later, if we need to. Also, let's start working on a farm, shall we? Let's find a dirt island. And let's find some dirt. And let's make a potato patch around here. Let's make our own little island. That's what I always like about Skygrid, and it should be better and easier on this than before. Let's see if it's any fun. Woman with hat, said Hyperion. Honestly, sometimes I'm sure she's like writing down her name in a form, and she's like, woman with hat. That's awesome. How Hate Demon says his words to describe it theming. Sonder from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I'm gonna Google the word sonder and confirm if you are correct. Wait, let's look at this first. Sonder. Sonder is the Swedish word that means probes. Okay, Sonder Wiktionary. Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. The profound feeling of realizing that everyone, including strangers passing the street seats, has a life as complex as one owns, which they are constantly living despite one's personal lack of awareness of. Do a never make project right now because spawning is still broken. Once the update happens, this won't be totally safe anymore. Yeah, I like that the spawning is... Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's a good recommendation. Like, we are less than a month away, I would predict, from the Nether update. And, like, now is your time. Now is your time. You know, I should make a video. I'm going to put this on my list right now. Things to do before 1.16 comes out. How to prepare for 1.16. I used to do these a long time ago. Like, how to prepare for 1.16. Spawning balked, lol. Explore specifically. And I'd say if you want to find nether quartz, you'll find a lot more now than before. Mine nether quartz if you want it. There we go. So okay, we'll work on that list later. Because you know what? Right now I'll focus on a lot of you. More than my video ideally. But to go back to yonder or whatever. It's I don't know, it's just that reminder that everyone is living their own little story all the time. And our stories only interact at some point. It's one of the things I learned because I read a lot of I never did any psychology as like a study, but I did I had to type up a bunch of like psychology papers because my mother was in university like when I was like a teenager. So like I like picked up by osmosis a lot of the books and essays and stuff. And one of the things I learned from one of the like psychology books that was just left lying around is this concept of like object permanence. When you're before the age of 2, you know you can play with a child. You can be like, peekaboo, peekaboo. I don't know if you put the hand over your your face or the child's face? I think it's your face, right? The child literally has no clue that when it cannot see you, that you still exist. It genuinely has no idea that even when you go into this, even when your face is not there, that you exist. It can only recognize things that are in its line of sight. This was actually like one of the earliest phases of like consciousness develop. One of the reasons we need consciousness, like the ability to think, is because in the wild, when we go behind a rock, you know, animals have this like concept. Really, they do it in much more simple ways than we do. But like when you go behind a like a rock to escape an enemy, to escape not an enemy, to escape a velociraptor, because humans and velociraptors exist at the same time. Trust me, that's science. But to escape a tiger, to escape whatever. So you go behind like a rock. You need to know that if you go out from that rock, the tiger will eat you. So you need to remember there's a tiger back there. That's object permanence, knowing that something's there when it's not. And it takes until like the age of like 4 or 5 until you know that even when people aren't in the room, they still are like, they're living their own lives. They're not just like you. I guess a simple way to put this is the world doesn't revolve around you. This is why you could probably make the fair assumption that like, oh yeah, you know how some people never learn that the world doesn't revolve around them? It's probably something that messed up in that stage of their development. They never got the memo. They never learned the key lesson that there are priorities in other people's lives that isn't them. There's dirt over there, by the way, so let's head that way. And it sounds super like, like self-obsessed to be able to make that mistake. But again, it's just the whole like, if it never comes up, then it never comes up. Why are pumpkins so bright? Are those jack-o'-lanterns? They're definitely jack-o'-lanterns, based on the brightness, I would say. The ability of using our hands makes us a spirit species. I really do think the thing that actually makes us unique, because people like to say it's tool usage, and a part of me is like, I don't know about that one. Because for the longest time, we actually didn't used to use tools. Like inventing the thing, the tool that we had to find that actually was worth us existing, like the moment we became the apex predator, like the thing that could, because we used to exist in the middle of the food chain. The moment we moved up to the top of the food chain was when we tamed fire. Like every successful like human-based species, so Neanderthals and like the Homo erectus, whatever else you want to say, all of these like little subspecies of humans, the things that made them successful was that they could tame fire. They could take this great pain that just exists in the wild, and they could use it for their own gain. To cook food, which apparently has benefits for your metabolism. I don't truly understand the science on that because, not my area of expertise. But everyone likes to think that it's like, oh yeah, it was when we put like a piece of we put something sharp on the end of a stick, we became super powerful. But it's like, well, that was good, but how do we make better things to put on the end of a stick? Oh yeah, because we also I've got a lot of diamonds again. Making armor doesn't seem to protect me very much, so I'll make diamond tools and then we'll come back to that. Never waste your diamonds on a hoe unless you're me, in which case we did precisely that anyway. What are you gonna do about it, Minecraft? And yeah, let's also make ourselves a pickaxe. Seems logical to me. And we're missing one of the tools. I think it's a sword. There we go. Now we've got a nice full iron set of gear. And we can also make ourselves a chest plate. I crave one. And now I've got one. So yeah, let's make a little farm of potatoes. So we can eat something that's not bread. Actually, what's the best food we can grow? It probably would just be seeds, right? Into wheat, into bread. But the best way to find that is through the hay bales. We could start an animal farm. If we can find grass blocks, we need to make a dirt path between me and those grass blocks. Do grass blocks exist, chat? Do you see any grass blocks right now? Because I genuinely think they might not. We're going to walk really far this way, and we'll see what we find. Orangutans actually formulate a hunting strategy where they funnel their prey to a killer, so it has nowhere else to go. Oh, so they get between. Oh, I like that as a strategy. Like, it's the tool of using something else as their thing. My guy, if you got the axe. You know what? I like an iron axe. Now, honestly, the difference between I think one of the interesting things about like tools in Minecraft is I think a diamond axe is the worst improvement over its iron version, and a gold axe is the only tool that's worse than its diamond version. I think I'm getting those facts right. I could be not. Who knows for sure? Could be making things up. Am I a real person? Honestly, chat, I want to know about this like right now. I know it's hard to actually think about this one because as soon as you think about it, I do become real. But do you think about me as a real person? You know, with like a real life and like things that I do and purchase and get up to in my life? Or do you think about me as someone who like shows up for a few minutes, sometimes hours for these streams and makes the YouTube videos or whatever? Also, hi, I'm late because I was eating and I wasn't working my phone and then I forgot. I forgot you were a human being. I'm sorry, Alina. That's what's happened while you have gone. No, you're an alien, sort of. Yes, but I don't care. See, that's brutal honesty. I like that. Yes, because you talk about yourself so much. But like when I'm not talking about me, you know, like when you're not watching a video of mine, do you think like, so what's toycat up to? Because it's interesting. Because I am real. I do exist. I do even when this stream turns off, I'm gonna play some Bioshock Infinite on the Xbox 360. I might drink the rest of the smoothie that I made earlier. I got a blender recently, or like a thing that turns things into like liquid. I've been enjoying that a lot. You know, I have real things that I do outside of this, but also this is the context you know me in, right? This is the primary context. You know, you might think me as playing Minecraft all the time, and it's not horrifically far out from the truth. Maybe problematically so, but you're always on my mind, toycat says. That's nice. When I first added you on Xbox and saw that you play games of the Minecraft, it was weird. First of all, crazy that you're from. I didn't realize that you were an OG, Alina. I thought you were from the streaming days alone. Second of all, do you ever just sleep or just game and drink smoothies, says Whittle? It's pretty much gaming and drink smoothies, and yeah, that's about it. That's about all I like to do with my life. No, I want to have like reasons to exercise, but I literally cannot find any right now. Like fun forms of exercise. Like I can run, I can walk, I can jog, I can hop. Right now, animation isn't good enough for me to say no, so you're real. But like, do you think about, you know, like, what do I do outside of this, you know, like, when I'm not recording a video, what am I doing, you know? Wait, what do you mean? I assumed you found me through the streams, Alina. I didn't realize that you were from the... It sounds like from the Xbox One or 360 days. Based on the comment you just made. And that is crazy. Didn't put that together until just now. Because again, until I had my first interaction with you, I didn't know you were real. In fact, like, I still don't know that you're real. Most of you here. You know, again, I have literally... geocaching is my favorite form of exercise. See, geocaching sounds like Pokemon Go, but maybe you get like a box of someone else's feces, right? That sounds terrifying to me. Maybe that's me being the weird one though. But yeah, I do want to find like a physical... I've been playing Minecraft Earth, even though I don't like it, just because like I get you know, it gives me like rewards for going out and doing stuff, and it's like, sure, let's grind out those XP points or whatever. But then every time I learn that someone's like cheating the game using a GPS spoof, I'm like, well, I'm an idiot for going outside and walking places. I can't believe I fell for this. I don't know. It's dumb that like weighs on me, but it does. It makes me go, well, what's the point of any of this anyway? Also, this is not going very well for my potato farm. Should we go find some skeletons to kill? I guess we have to, right? Yeah. Where do we find water also? You know, there are so many poorly thought out things about this map. Are there ice blocks? Let's just keep walking till we find them. Let's just get a whole stack of slabs. We can now go an absurd distance. And let's just keep going until we find ice blocks, or until we find... Yeah, ice blocks or water or an end portal. When we find one of those three things, we'll be happy and we'll be stuck. I think water was below you. I think that's lapis, unless there's also water below me. Do you see that, like, wandering trader hanging the llama off the edge? What a weird thing. Also, oh, God. Yeah, I have trouble thinking of, like, here's an interesting thing, you know, because we've said this before, we talk about this a lot. We have a parasocial relationship here on the internet, me and you, dear viewer. And realistically, by dear viewer, I mean the aggregate of viewers. If you comment on the streams, I know something about you personally, right? Bone blocks. Oh, that's a good idea. Is a loser. I like that as a strategy. But something about maybe something that you like to know. Maybe you don't like to know this. But because a lot of like you know, because as an aggregate, like somehow, you know, between the support that you collectively provide, I am able to, you know, to provide for myself enough to live and survive, and also to be lucky enough to travel when traveling is a real thing. But you know, that is something you can gather yourself, right? But as far as like the individuals, I'm always like shocked when I realize like, wow, that collection of people has like individuals in it. Like I don't know, like you know, we apparently you know, here's a regular chatter on the channel, Alina Khan, where she was real a long time before I had any idea who she was, because like she comments on the stream and is vaguely nice, or at least funny, right? Like there is same with a lot of people. Like you've existed for a long time, and there's something that like brings you to my attention. It's kind of like that same thing in real life, where like woman with hat existed forever. She's there, but we like abstract her away. The individuals who make up this channel. By the way, I still don't see any ice or any bone blocks. Let me know if you see any, because we're kind of desperate here. We're kind of desperate. Maybe we should go diagonally, specifically for that reason. Yeah, new strategy. Go diagonally. But, yeah, so, vaguely nice, really funny. Just like Mother Russia's comment earlier about, like, I have a nice face. You have a nice sense of humor. You are pleasant to be around for sometimes minutes in a row. But no, rather than roasting elements of chat, let's instead mention the fact that like it's weird when someone becomes a fleshed out person, because it really isn't that they become one, it's that they were there all along. And what this comes down to is like, in the same way that children can't think about things outside their field of vision. Also, 69, I love music 420. What a high quality name you have. I'm glad you think I'm a good human being. I don't know how real or jokey that comment is, because I don't know your sense of sarcasm. I just assume that you're being genuine, and I hope that you are, Mr. 69, I love music 420. Also, you know my name, not my story, says Shayna O. See, right, Shayna O, I'll be honest, I think you're from America, maybe the UK, if not Australia. It's definitely one of those four, because you have like a grasp on the English language that tells me that you are, you know, fluent in it as your primary language. You know, but not New Zealand, because like when you're from New Zealand, it becomes clear, very obvious. It's a whole own weird bubble of its own over there. So I guess technically Canada. No, I don't think Canadian. Canadians are also in that bubble of like New Zealanders, where it's like you got to make yourself clear that you're not your neighbors. Anyway, so in the same way that like we cannot understand everything in the world, this really annoys me, because it happens every time. Like we look to people, I don't know, let's call them ideologues. We look to people who like to come up with the ideas upon which we're going to base our stuff, but no one can know everything, and no one can even come anywhere close, right? And we all know that on some level, but understanding like something as big as how do you run how do you make a fair system, like kind of like, you know, that earlier question about like, okay, so the trolley problem, everyone would do one thing, not the other. But as soon as you muddy the equations, we all disagree, because we're all thinking about the issue slightly differently. There is probably an objectively correct answer as regards to like, should you kill the 1 or the 5? Always kill the 5. Is there an objectively correct answer to, you know, should you kill 1 healthy patient to save 5? There's probably one out there, but we're filled with emotion as to like, What if we were in that situation? There's a lot of things that we don't do, even though they sound perfectly logical, because they just feel wrong and weird, and we don't like the feeling that they have. And it's dumb, but it's also the principle under which we operate. Also, this is getting pretty messy, this little bridge pathway. Nope, I'm from Canada. Well, see, there it goes, right? There it goes. The one thing I know about you, it's wrong. It's all out there. Shayna. No, but yeah, like, off the thousands of people who make this channel possible, I only know the names of a few hundred, and I only really feel like I know, you know, like, off the people who are members and who frequently chat, you know, how many people do I know? Like, somewhere in the dozens, right? Because, you know, it's, some YouTubers, like, try to, like, pretend that, like, yeah, we're all friends perfectly, and maybe it's not even pretending, maybe it's just, like, I would like to be, the closest our relationship can be is if I say, hey, everyone, and you know that everyone includes you. And that's what we have to do here too, right? Like, hey, everyone includes you, by the way. You watching this video right now, you know, even though the algorithm is recommending my videos less right now, the fact that you found this video means that either you went out of your way to find it, or YouTube decided that you're someone who would like it. And in either case, thank you for that, right? Isn't that cool? You deciding to be here, support your favorite camboy on the internet, you know? But the, also thank you, Jamie Seguenes. Good to see you again. See you right in the same club. Also, toycat, wandering traders sell trade emeralds for water, ice, and saplings. You know, that might be my best strategy. I can't believe they made this map, but I don't think they've used any modern blocks. I think they literally just made the blocks 3x3. There are no blocks past, I guess wandering traders spawn, but that's a default thing. There's no honey blocks here. There's no new crafting tables from 1.14. Are there even aquatic blocks? What are the new aquatic blocks? Like strip log things? No, there's none of those. You know, when was this map? This is a map released, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. And it doesn't have blocks which were introduced in, like, 2017. Maybe 18? I don't know years anymore, honestly. I guess 2018 would have to be aquatic update. But it doesn't have any concrete, so it's before World of Colors as well. How did they... Why did they not think to add those things? Like, I guess you can make concrete, so I'll give them a pass on that. But everything else, it's like, they just didn't. They just decided not to somehow. And that's an okay decision in their head. Would I recommend this map? No. This is a very bad... I wanted to give it a try. It was the first map ever released by the studio. But they just... You know, this is actually reassuring. Can I talk about something interesting? Favorite? I'm hate watching, says Oliver Von Arx. It's totally possible. It's totally possible. Isn't it funny, by the way, that this paid map is worse than the free thing that Mojang put out for April Fools? Like, I think we'd have genuinely more fun playing that at some point in the future, because it would have all the options we need. They've been sitting on this for a while. I imagine a lot of streamers have one friend they talk to a lot named Chat. That's honestly, that's the best, that's how I like to think about it. Like, there are so many, like, let's be honest, if you're watching this right now, statistically, might be nice. Statistically, could be a jerk, you know? There are so many just, like, full-on just bastard, you know, you collectively, Chat, you're, you know, like, a useful source. But some of you are just monsters. That's why I think we need, like, a deliberately demeaning name for Chat. Like, you know, sometimes Chat likes it when I call you a slut. You like that, Chat? Does that make you behave, Chat? Are you good? See? I feel like we need a relationship like that, where we admit that, like, hey, sometimes you're a bad collection of people, Chat. And you're gonna have to be punished for that, collectively, Chat. Maybe that's what we gotta do here. We gotta really dive into the whole thing. This is taking an odd turn, says Mega Caster. Yes, Mr. Toycat. It makes me feel dirty. My friend, show me you. You're great, says Gabriel O'Leary. Hey, that's awesome that your friend... You know, tell your friend you made a cool decision. And I appreciate that decision. The April Fool's snapshot can both burn your PC and bring you joy. Right? I mean, what more do you need in the world besides both those two things? Yes, Daddy Cat. That makes me be even badder. You know, okay, this is... I have underestimated the chat once again. You know, let's steer things back onto a train of thought that makes some actual sense. So how about the weather, huh? Sure is wacky these days. But no, the thing I find to be always a bind. The thing I find to always be a bind. I want to try to rhyme more, like off the cuff. I just feel like rhymes are a better way to speak. You know, regular language, that's for nerds. Rhymes, that's how the real chads speak. Wait, let's use a bunch of teams. Okay, you know, I've got a new goal. Because this map has its... Like, there's no ice on this map. I don't know how they missed ice as one of the blocks, like, they could put on there. But they did. Or it's just so rare that we somehow haven't found it. Also possible that we found glass now. We found this many sea lanterns, but we don't find ice. Where are the regular lanterns, too? Let's just find a bunch of TNT. Let's just, like, grab it all. And then let's use said TNT. And let's just make a big old explosion. Because that's what we're worth, I reckon. That's what we're worth. Just like you're worth nothing, chat. You hear it? You hear this? If you look by the subscribe. But yeah, so, what are your thoughts on the riots in Minnesota? Wow, the weather sure is good, isn't it? I think that it's gonna be overcast tomorrow, though. And that is a bad thing, some people would think. I'm not one of those people, though. I kind of like rainy weather. It makes a nice noise. Don't you agree with that one? Choke us, IVX, Daddy Cat. Well, this took an even worse turn for the worse. So, about the Nasdaq is going up, right? Down. No, the Nasdaq's probably going up. I don't know. I think the Nasdaq is like the tech stock exchange in America. I don't know. I know words without knowing what they mean. Okay, isn't that crazy? We're looking for a financial rebound of the century, huh? You guys hear about the unrest in Venezuela? That sure is wacky. Says me that you can't be mean anymore. You're just degrading and kinky. I mean, that's kind of nice, right? Like, you know what? What people used to... I heard this advice from, I think it's like Stephen Fry. I could be wrong. You know, don't quote me on this one. But the best thing to do if someone's bullying you and you don't like it is just say, please stop, you know, that turns me on. You're giving me an erection or whatever. Like, you just got to say something that makes them go, ooh, about this, and then back away. And pro tip, it's like actually not. One of my favorite tips, this is like advice for bullying, but it's more advice for like how to live your life in a world where people would like to hurt you. Because I've said this before, but like when people try to hurt my feelings, it doesn't generally work. Like people on a regular basis, you know, one of the most common ones we get on this channel, one in every like 1,000 comments or so is, hey toycat, your hair, it, you know, like they'll say like, don't you know that you're meant to get it cut, or like, hey toycat, you need to shower at some point, implying that, which I think is weird that I don't shower, but whatever, you know, we'll leave that to the side. Like they don't understand that, you know, it doesn't feel good not to shower. Maybe the reason I don't shower is because my parents beat me, which like apparently some people don't shower for that reason. Horrifying thing, by the way. Anyway, or like I think it's like when you're sexually abused, you like try to stay unclean so that way people don't want to abuse you. It's a whole awful thing. But you know, that could be true. Wouldn't you feel bad if that was true for me? But no. So your audience are kids. We are all aware of that fact. 7-year-olds, shut your ears. You are not sluts. Everyone who hasn't shut their ears right now, you are sluts. There we go. We did it. We just solved the issue of child thing. Also watching Toycat Hospital with food poisoning. Thank you for making me smile. Hey, you're welcome, Lou baby. What is a hospital like right now? Like is it like spookily empty? Like in the UK, I've heard that's the case. Or is it just a hospital? Man, I've never been to the hospital as like an okay, you know, I've never been to the hospital for something that was like a real problem I had. Like, okay, so I've been to the hospital 3 times. My brother once told me to swallow a penny and then I did, and apparently that's real bad, and I had to go to the hospital. And then my brother once told me to swallow a marble, and I did, and apparently that's real bad, and I had to go to the hospital. I was like 2. Like, I trusted him, and he was just like seeing what happens if a human swallows a thing. And you know, can you spot the common trend here, by the way? You know, there's no gravel besides that starting island. If we want a flint and steel, we have to stack all the way up there. What's another way to start a fire? Yeah, so the only other time I've been to the hospital is as a 3-year-old. I slipped in the bath. Wait, you can actually vaguely see it if you look, I think, here. And my girlfriend pointed it out recently. She was just like, you know, if you look there, there's like a little gap. Can you see it? Tell me if you can or not. But, hey, Mr. Creeper. You doing good today? That's good. But, like, oh god, there's like a little thing. Oh, redstone, redstone! Yeah, you're right, that's smart. Do I have redstone? I don't have redstone. But, so like, I have a scar because I fell in the bath, and like, I fell face first. And like, the friction. By the way, this is horrifying to think about. I remember bleeding a lot at the time. But, oh, also, wait. I went to hospital without realizing it. Like, I must have been super young as well. I chopped off one of my fingers. I can still see the scar. Can you see it clearly? Wait. There you go. Can you see the little line over there? That's where I chopped off the top of one of my fingers, apparently. Which sounds awful. But yeah, we're gonna use a redstone torch. We're gonna light some TNT on fire, and we're gonna try and cause maximum damage. But yeah, so like when I was young, I went to the hospital for like dumb things that, like, they weren't me, you know. Like if I go to the hospital, one of the things, the closest I've been, I'd say, is I went skiing a couple years ago, and I kind of just like, I got really scared about slowing down because the process of slowing down felt scary. I was experienced at this point. I don't know why I had this logic. So I was like, I'll just go faster and faster and make it all the way to the bottom and deal with slowing down there. Like, I'll hope something slows me down on the way. I don't know what my logic was, but I went absurdly fast into like a hill that's like that, you know, like just straight down where you have to go like this just to not pass out. I went down that, got this absurd speed where I remember I was zooming past people like, you know, literally maybe 20, 30 miles. It felt like 20, 30 miles an hour. Like, obviously, it would have been like, you know, 15 or 20. And I remember eventually I was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I didn't. And I slipped and like... I remember the craziest thing was... Do you know about the YouTube channel initially? Ish. But yeah. Sort of. Yeah. Yeah. But no. But yeah. So yeah, I had this... What happened is, like, eventually, I was just going so fast that even, like... Because the simplest thing to do in skiing, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, the simplest thing is to have both your things like this, because you just go forwards, and then you can, like, rotate them at the same time, and you get the maximum speed going. But, so what I decided to do is I was like, okay, I'll just do that. And, I did precisely that. And, so at first, things went kind of okay. It was like vaguely okay. And then eventually, I don't remember what actually caused it. I think like a rock I hit on the ground. But I hit something, or like something just made me destabilize. I was going too fast to control. And I like fell, but because I was going so fast, I hit the ground, my skis come off immediately. They went flying down the hill or whatever. I went like flying, I rolled, I jumped, like I remember each bounce, like roll, another like, you know, 10 feet or 3 meters or something past, roll, another few meters past. I went like flying right down that, you know, like the piste or whatever it's called. And I just remember feeling like, oh god, I can't move anything, everything hurts. And then like some like Austrian skiers came over and were like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, not really. He's like, can you move? And I'm like, just about. He's like, do you want to get a medic? And I was like, ooh, that sounds awful. No. And just the rest of that, I was like so barely able to make it to the bottom. And I was like, you know, I was probably like in the... If I was, like, more aware of, like, falling... If I was, like... What's it called? Like, you know when you go rigid? You, like, break more stuff? If I was aware that was about to happen and, like, able to be scared of it, probably would have hurt myself real bad, huh? And that's when I realized, you know, that was probably the closest I've come. Not to death, but, like, to serious injury as an adult. Okay, let's place a bunch of blocks around here. So, what we're going to do, because this skyblock map... this Skygrid, not only was it... You know, not only did they charge a bunch of money for a map that they didn't make, they took someone else's concept, they sold it. Didn't even get credit to, you know, Seppling, the original maker. But whatever, you know, like... It's kind of like in the Minecraft public domain. You could argue. I don't know if you could argue successfully. But, so, you know, like... The problem is they don't have a Nether pre-made. There's no way to get to the end. They didn't make end portals. They didn't even use recent blocks. They literally... this entire map has the flaw of not realizing why people want a map. Or even realizing what the point is. It just exists. And this is the first map that is made by this 4K Studios. If you watch this 4K Studios, you know, I want you to be successful. I want you to make cool things. It's a good place when the marketplace has lots of partners who do good things. But right now, that's not a thing that we can say exists in the world. And that is a tragedy, if you ask me. So I am saying right now, we're going to hop into creative, actually. Actually, should we hop into creative? Let's do it. Let's not actually. I want to see this explosion happen in real time. So we'll head over here. And let's now watch me destroying everything we've ever tried right here. So place that down, that activates some TNT. Look back over there, and let's see what happens. Huh. Oh, okay, it's starting. The train is going. Train kept rolling all night long. Oh, it didn't actually... See, it went everywhere. It made a huge hole, but it didn't activate that piece of... Oh, God. Okay, the explosions are still going off. Didn't activate that one, which is pretty essential for what we're trying to do over here. So let's make that happen. You can see how bad it's lacking the game here. But, yeah, maps like this. I like fun survival challenges. I want there to be more of them. It's something that I intend to do, and that's why, if you don't know, we've started working on a few maps that we're going to release in the marketplace, because it's the only way to download maps if you're on Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch. And hopefully, we can do a good job of this. And hopefully, even 4K Studios can improve and make maps that are hopefully their own things in the future. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll see. But for now, let's have a more satisfying explosion, because I love the rain of destruction around it. But this should be even more satisfying because it's much more TNT dense. Let's see what happens over here. Also, let's place a block there, just to be safe. You never know what's going to happen otherwise. Oh, okay, that still hurt me, which is shocking. Oh man, the explosions just do not have... You know, I tried so hard, and that's so far. But in the end, it didn't even matter. But I hope you all enjoyed this little journey we went on together. And by journey, I mean not really a journey, just finding out how limited a map really was. I hope that these videos, you know, help you realize what is and isn't worth your time on the marketplace. And hopefully these streams help you in some way beyond even that. If it did, I am going to quickly plug something that I made because, hey, there is a toycat, a special limited edition 11-year anniversary of the channel. Piece of merch you can find in the comments, the description down below. We have to sell. We have to, you know, to get them made. That's be a minimum of 400. We got 200 made of in a day off the maximum like 999 that we'll be selling. So it's a pretty wild thing to me. And if you want to get your hands on one, because there will only be this one run off this plush. If you want it for the 11-year anniversary, commemorate this space and time where we've been found. There's a link down there in the description, and I recommend you check it out. But you know, I also recommend that you go try the McDonald's. Actually, they don't do things right now. I was like, what's their special that they do right now? They don't do anything right now because they don't exist in the UK. Life is sad, and if you want to fix my lack of McDonald's sadness, you can buy a plush, and that's real good. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you'll enjoy this video. If you did, then that's great, because I'll see you tomorrow. for Seed Sunday. It's like Seed Monday and Seed Wednesday, but it's actually on the day that it's meant to be. Gonna be a lot of fun. See you there. Bye. Or will I? Yeah, I will. I'm gonna go play some Bioshock Infinite. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. If you want to play it too, it leaves Game Pass tomorrow. I didn't know games did leave Games Pass. I thought they were just on there permanently. But yeah, tomorrow. Last thing. Oh, actually, wait. Sneak peek. Did you know? I finally worked on the Death Star. It was like the most painful hour of my life. But we've finally done something. I miss you already, says Ebsk. That's nice. Goodbye, G-Bay and Minecraft Molly and Rage Mage 117 and Is a Loser and Nemo Nameless and Sugar Blossom and Craig Basketball and Blasted Records and Jacob Wallace and PN and SGL and there we go, we're good. Oh, speaking of things that are good, this by